Hey, I really didn't want it to come to this, but it seems like I'm the only one that can bring these issues to light. And the main reason it took me so long to actually follow up with my side of the story is it's just I kind of needed to muster up the courage to speak out about my experience. And furthermore, I'd like to preface this by saying that all the screenshots and evidence that I'm about to present are legitimate, and they're from myself and other people who play on the SMPLive server, and they're not taken out of context, and they represent nothing but the truth that's going on. Back around March and April, after binge watching a lot of SMPLive content like streams, highlights, and videos, I grew really attached to the cast and really wanted to take part in the fun they were having in Minecraft, which is one of my favorite games of the decade, one that had an immense impact in my youth. I had always admired how much Schlatt, Carson, and Weiss were so entertaining to their audiences, and being a video editor, I sort of looked up to Poke and Franz J as peers for their editing skills, and I've always loved seeing such wholesome faces as Slimesicle, Jimmy, and Junkie. It's kind of like seeing your favorite musician perform live and wanting to become more and more involved with their band. So I've shown heavy interest in joining on Twitter, where I've composed some tweets and even edited a short in hopes of bringing attention to my request, which worked eventually. Though it seemed like I wasn't very well received by some peeps of the people of the cast, because I admit I was a little bit too enthusiastic about joining and maybe a little annoyingly requested an invite and such. But since then, I've always tried to show the best image of myself and always strive to better my relations with people. Countless times I had aided fellow members by getting their death loot and storing it safely, helping people with lag-related issues, and more. Maybe in retrospect, I've tried a bit too hard to reinforce this positive image of myself, but that's part of my nature and really can't alter that. At one point, I even tried to reason it out and offered an amicable settlement of any misconceptions, prejudices, or issues anyone had against me, but fortunately, nobody really stepped in and told me what was wrong. I also, during my short stay, tried to trademark my presence, kinda like any respectable graffiti artist would tag his insignia over walls. I saw Beefstew do it with Mel's and such, and I decided to give it a go as well. I thought about what really made me popular and distinguished over Twitter and YouTube, and I really can't attribute that to anything but, well, Sans. I spent time gathering resources and built in total about 4 pixel arts of him. Some got deleted, others stayed in place, and that's fine, as it is. But all I got against that was backlash. There were no rules against it, but everybody was against my actions for some reason. They called me unfunny, cringe, and toxic, and while I get it, they're free to not like this kind of joke, but I'm equally as free to just continue setting that up as my trademark. I'm not harming anybody. It just looks like they kind of wanted a reason to get mad. During my stay, I had to face unparalleled harassment from a fellow member, Arliss. Everyone else defended his actions and called me in the wrong every single time, despite his deeds being outright unacceptable. I had met him roughly a few months ago, and both coincidentally met at ExtremeLitz's Minecraft server. He had made a large outdoor base surrounded with huge cobblestone walls, and I jokingly kept fortifying the outside of his base with doors, despite not being part of his base. He got mad, and I ended up removing the doors off of it later when I cleared the server up. A few months later, when I started streaming, I opened a public Minecraft server to test the new 1.14 update. He joined it at some point and made a tiny camp out of doors and campfires, and I didn't think much of it, but I thought he just took the joke lightly and only made that as a throwback. Fast forward until May 17th, where I got invited to SMPLive. That exact day, he had already started showing his disliking of me very early on, as seen in this screenshot. Throughout his streams, which, by the way, I've been banned from completely participating in for merely interacting in chat, I've been told that he's been bad-mouthing me on his Discord server, presenting me in such a light and such a point of view that would have his very loyal fans share the same emotions and opinions towards me. He's used that to his advantage, forming brigades, sharing messages from the private SMPLive server just so that his members could have a laugh at whatever I said. He was calling me names ranging from leech to outright accusing me of mental retardation, with casual racially motivated discrimination sprinkled into the mix. He's also encouraged his fanbase to tug in my Twitter or even go to my stream and provoke me with offensive messages and, well, far more than I can count, but you can see by yourself. He kept claiming that nobody likes me, just to reinforce the idea that nobody liked me, and his fans were, as you may tell, forming a carbon copy of his opinions just out of pure conformism. When I genuinely tried to confront this unjustified hate, he just laughed it off as usual and showed it to the rest of his Discord, who once again made fun of it. It even went to the point of them trying to brainstorm ideas to get me evicted from SMPLive just for being cringe and unfunny. And I really like to say that this isn't playful, meant in a joking manner or anything. This is plain harassment in its purest forms, and it's honestly sickening how everyone in that community has let that slide, going as far as giving him unwavering support and denying any legitimate claims against him. It's not the first time he's shown signs of toxicity and unwarranted edginess. It's also worth noting that he's doxed a minor in the past, gotten his real name and used that against him to get favors out of him, and once again, despite valid claims, the rest of the cast showed unconditional support for the sole basis that he's a peer to them. Well, the last day of SMPLive, I made a TNT trap that activated on whoever entered the end, kind of how like traps were scattered all across spawn that were designed to lead to your death. Obviously, they didn't like it, and Arliss and another member going as far as intentionally dying to it with no items simply to accuse me of griefing. Blowing my action out of proportion, they succeeded in getting me evicted off, and only when I actually left, had I realized how much everybody despised me. Everybody, including some of the guys that I looked up to, and some that I was looking forward to befriending. I got called names. Most of the cast unanimously supported this hate bandwagon against me, calling Antvenom a savage for stepping in and blurring me out of an otherwise wholesome, memorable moment shared between him, Pete, and I that I had initiated. I got called a leech, a cloud chaser, and I was told that I apparently cared way too much about my view count, despite me streaming regardless of averaging 3 viewers or 200. They mocked me for making lengthy streams, but that's just because I was having fun. But what hurt me the most is when Carson himself labeled me as nothing but a toxic social climber. It was only then that I realized that all of my intentions were heavily mislabeled. I was only trying to build genuine, long-lasting relations with the people involved, whether I saw them as peers, looked up to them, or just wanted a friendly chat. My limitless hope and enthusiasm for inclusion were seen as close-minded annoyance and clout chasing. My desire to show positive radiance whenever I went was misinterpreted as unwarranted optimism. And my wishes to strengthen bonds and make new ones was misapprehended as leeching off already successful people. Nobody deserves to get treated like this, regardless of what they've done or what they haven't done. The more I think about it, the more it fucks me up how I've been treated like subhuman scum. And all these actions haven't left my mind ever since. And for the past month, I keep fearing that anyone else would have to go through the same troubles again. And before you claim it was just a Minecraft server, grow up and get over it, I'd have to differ. It wasn't just a Minecraft server. It was a community of content creators, personalities, and average gamers that I've always dreamt of participating in. It was more than a game server. It was an entire community of individuals whose voices matter, and their view of me as a person as a whole has been irreversibly soiled even outside this game server. It happened to me, and it can happen to any of you guys. Take care.